And hello racing fans, and welcome to our Gallop TV Preview Show, Thursday the 26th of September. And I trust that you, the valued racing fan, is well looking forward to racing at the Vaal. We're on the classic track. It's upon Monday, and from now it is downhill to the end of the year. I just want to see what's on offer before we introduce Alistair Cohen to the show. Well, the first race I see, Alistair, is at 12:25. The big one, the pick six, at 13:25, and then we should close things off at 16:30. Well, before I say hello to Alistair, I must say I can't speak on behalf of the other presenters that previewed Alistair Cohen. But whenever I've worked with him on the last few meetings, things have fallen into place. And although the dividends haven't been wow, they've been won. So well done to Alistair in trying to narrow down the spend, especially. That's the key. When you get these dividends that you can read the card and suspect that they're not going to pay bombs, but you can play it accordingly. Then as long as you're making a profit, all systems go. So well done with that, Alistair, and good day to you.
Yeah, good day, Dees. Thank you for that. Thank you for that introduction. And we got burnt on Heritage Day as well, just because of the scratching. I mean, you know what it's like having to submit selections, almost 36 hours before race one, and you in the hands of things going according to plan and not getting sort of done up by scratchings. And then the 106 rated maiden Winds of Change got scratched in the morning, and then according to the numbers, you're reliant on the third favourite who went missing. Other than that, we would have done well on Heritage Day. So yeah, things have been going according to plan. As you say, it's not necessarily everyone's cup of tea when all the fancy start to arrive. You know that the way that I generally like to play is to look for horses that might be at bigger prices, that could represent some value and boost dividends, etc., which I think we've got on this particular card on Thursday. But yeah, looking forward to it. I mean, we're 2 months out from the Betway Summer Cup. We're just under 2 months out from starting the Cape Summer Festival. That'll be towards the end of November, 1 week before the Betway Summer Cup. So a lot going on at the moment. And for the first time in years, I actually think that KZN has a wider spread of top division horses. So I think racing fans are going to be treated for the next few months as we get towards the end of month 2 of the season. It has been a slow start to the season, it always is, but now it's time to pick up.
Talking about picking up, let's try and pick up something here in race number 1 to get things off at the Vaal. It kicks off at 12:25. It's a maiden plate for fillies and mares. It's a work riders race over 1,000 meters. At the time of recording, no scratchings. The one clear declaration is that Samanga Kamala will not be riding at the race meeting. I have a few of his replacements that I'll give it to you. Race number one at 8-1. We got a first timer here from the stable of Tony Peter. Will be debuting as a 4-year-old. Cars Big as Bars, I like the name, at 5-2. Number 5 at 18-10. 6 is at 2-1, and 7 at 7-1. So the exotics will begin here in race number 1, Alistair. We got a first-timer that's in the betting from the stable of Tony Peter. But when you just have a look at Tony Peter, he saddles more than half the field here. Numbers 1, 3, 5, and 6. So therein lies the key.
Correct, and will all 4 of them stand their ground? I'll tell you what, Dees, this is a bit trickier than it looks. Basingstoke and Belisivar, the 2 horses at the top of the boards, deservedly so. They look like the 2 biggest winning chances. They've met each other twice, and it's 1-1 between the 2. Basingstoke beating Belisivar last time, Belisivar beating Basingstoke at the penultimate start. Stable work rider Pelasila Mklawa rode Belisivar when beating Basingstoke, and now he's jumped ship and he's riding Basingstoke when they met behind Perini Palace. Now, when you look at the form lines, you would have ordinarily thought the Royal Horizon form is not going to work out all that promisingly, but in the space of 21 days, a horse called Future Date, who ran 5th, therefore beaten about a length, just under a length by Basingstoke, and beaten a quarter of a length by Belisivar, came out and ran 2nd and won. And in the day that Future Date won, or rather ran 2nd, Intro, who was beaten 11 lengths, came out and ran 2nd at the Vaal on Tuesday. So the form is probably working out a little bit better than many would have expected, because it looked like a shallow maiden. It probably was a shallow maiden, but this is a shallow maiden as well. In fact, probably even with less depth. So to get a gauge over which one between the two, I must be honest, I think Belissavar's overdue, and I think Belissavar's probably got more natural ability than the improvement that Basingstoke has made since going back to 1,000 metres. I wouldn't want to have a win bet here, probably go boxed exactas with the two Peter horses, but at a push, I'd go with 6 from 5. Barpot, you just need the 2 horses. I can't see anything troubling those.
Okay, 6 and 5 going to be the pick from the stable of Tony Peter for Alistair Cohen, but just keep an eye on that first timer. If that shortens in the betting, I mentioned 5 to 2, and there's some confidence coming through, then maybe 1 to follow in race number 1. But Alistair hoping for a form result there in leg 1 of that Barpot. Place accumulator will begin in race number 2. It's a maiden plate over 1,000 meters, and as we bring up the field, I'll give you some horses that are in single figures. Number 1 is at 7 to 2. We got an 18 to 10 shot here, Clinton Binder's runner, and I like it. Quacka Blitz, number 6 is at 9 to 4, and then we got a first timer here, another Clinton Binder runner, that's trading at 7 to 1. Okay, Nelspruit, we go on to the weekend, and hopefully the boys can clinch it. Desperately unlucky over the weekend, and I refer to Quacka, who is part of the team. But coming back to Quacka Blitz, the horse, last 2 starts with the blinkers have helped.
Big time. For what it's worth, I think the box will win in Nelspruit over the weekend. Home ground advantage, stronger side, everything that goes with it. I'd like to know what the spread is, though, because Argentina have made a lot of spread punters quite happy this rugby championship. But we do digress. With blinkers, different horse, Binder's having an unreal time at the moment. I mean, there's a handful of trainers on the half felts that are flying. One of them, St. John Grand, we'll get to his horses in a moment. Clinton Binder's another one. There are quite a few, obviously, Stuart Pettigrew, Lucky Hoodalakas, they all come to mind, and there's obviously quite a few big yards that are taking it quite easy at this time of year. Johan Janssen van Vuuren's also having a very good run at the moment. I'd say the others are only getting warm now. So from that point of view, and also with Stradum taking the ride on Quacka Blitz, I think all that bodes well for the son of Captain of Vaal running a huge race, finished in front of Potberry, who he reopposes. There was a quarter of a length between them. But Dees, what I can't work out here, Muzi Annie Be With Me would have had the choice of rides between the St. John Grey runners. Both of them, look at this, gelded on the same day, exactly 1 month earlier, 26th of August. Both number 1 Pacific and 6 Potberry were gelded, so they're probably queued up. And who's St. John's vet? Terry Casey probably would have just gone chip, one after the other. But Muzi's gone with number 1 Pacific instead of number 6 Potberry. I think Potberry makes more appeal. Gavin Larena takes a ride. Not that you would cry having Gavin on your horse at the moment, but then we got the dynamic of Quacka Blitz holding Potberry. So I can only see 3 horses featuring here, unless one of the other Binder first timers are fancied, and I don't see it, to be honest. Maybe number 10 Old Fashioned under Louis and Clark, or the mother was good quality, trained by Brett Crawford, Cuvée Brood, but I don't see that turning over the stable companion number 5 Quacka Blitz. And when you shop around, there's just very little else to get excited about. So as mentioned, 3 horses here that I think have legitimate winning chances. I'm going to lean towards the Binder runner number 5 Quacka Blitz, but the St. John Grey roll of the dice has me thinking, do we back Muzi's judgment, taking number 1 Pacific? Is the outside draw the kicker here, because that's where you want to be down the Vaal Classic straight? Or is number 6 Potberry going to retain that type of form behind Quacka Blitz? And if he does, that makes Potberry a bit of a chance. I must be honest, I'm going to take Muzi's guidance here. I'm going to go 5, 1 and 6 in order of preference. I don't see anything else winning the race. PA, you just need 2 of the 3. Barpot, you just need 2 of the 3 as well, just to survive. If you want to double or treble up, then that's up to your interpretation.
So it's St. John Grey versus Clinton Binder here, race number 2. That's how Alistair reads the script, and I think it should fall into place with those 3 runners in leg 1 of that place accumulator. The big one, the pick 6, begins in race number 3. It's a middle stakes over 2,000 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. 5 is Tamarisk Tree at 5 to 1. 6 Battleground is at 6 to 1. And then we go on to 7 Thani Player at 4 to 1. Number 8 Claw, we still wait a jockey for that. That's trading at 5 to 1. 9 Total Surrender at 5 to 1. And number 11 is at 8 to 1. Okay, your horse, Banner Bridge, what happened last time out? I saw the horse was scratched.
Yeah, geez, I can't even remember the reason, but yeah, he was scratched. It was nothing serious. Obviously, the fact that he's back 3 weeks or so later, he'll run a better race. Number 12, Banner Bridge. If he won, I'll take it with both hands. I don't expect him to win, but just keeping up with the progress of coming back from a spider bite that nearly ended his career. 9.5 lengths when he needed it. He halved that deficit just about to call it 5.5 lengths. So, hoping he can be about a length and a half, 2 lengths off. That's probably where he fits in, off a very lightweight and with Musi on board. So optimistic that he'll earn a minor stake. That's probably where he fits in here, does number 12, Banner Bridge. Very, very tricky race, though, Dees. I think pound for pound, the two best horses here are numbers 1 and 4, Savannah Storm and Armagum. I want to start with the Tony Peter runner, number 4, Armagum. I'm actually going to tip him on top. Calvin Habib takes the ride. I thought he would have needed his last run very badly behind Atarime. He was off for 4 months, and it was over a distance patently short of his best. This distance is also probably short of his best. I mean, he was sweeping all before him in the Stayers ranks nearly 2 years ago, the son of Duke of Marmalade. So this is probably just a run to bring him along. But just having a look at the price of this horse, Armagum, he's currently trading at around 12 to 1, 25 to 2, number 4. I think that he represents some good each-way value. So I'm keen on his chances here, and even though there will be a bigger picture with him, I think that he's good enough to turn over a field like this if he's 85% ready. Number 1, Savannah Storm, will be stretched over this distance. He's got an annoying habit of turning over much bigger names. He once beat Feather Bow in a Pinnacle Stakes Turpentine under the lights. Pierre Stradham takes a ride for the first time. This is an absolute dream of a Pierre ride. The fact that Savannah Storm loves to go through the hands, loves to keep balance. So it's just a matter of whether he'll see out the distance. That is a huge question mark. If he does, he could very easily win the race. And then there are various others that come into the picture. I'm a little bit skeptical about Battleground over 2,000 metres. First run back from winning the PE Gold Cup at Fairview. There'll probably be an expectation that he'll probably need the run flat and then take it from there. Funny players on the up, but for me, he's got a little bit more to do, especially from the draw. But he's starting to live up to Mano Pandaram's expectations of him. Total Surrender, Royal Edition, 2 horses that need to be respected. But I think the more established and sort of the better performed horses here are going to hold sway. So I think there's a lot of value around number 4 here, Armagum under Calvin Habib. If not winning, I think he'll go close. Structure your race around him with a whole lot of horses here that are either trying the distance for the first time, who look like they're restarting, sort of getting into the swing of things when the Stayers features come around in Joburg in just over a month from now.
Just a comment on this one runner here, Alistair, because I know that you've picked out some outsiders, and he's also trading in double figures. This horse, Sugar Blast, I'm just going to look at that last start and say it did not happen. Obviously it did, but I'm just going to look at it to say that, draw a line through it, because the horse was just eased out of it. I don't know what went wrong, but obviously we have these experience of the jockeys that would, not punish a horse that's not trying or that's not interested or very little interest. We'll take it on that. If you have to judge him on his previous form, a kind of horse that enjoys a soft lead, and if he gets that, would he surprise you as a winner?
No, he wouldn't is the answer, but the last one was so bad. I was at the Vaal that day, and he folded tamely, just did not persevere with him. He's got the advantage of draw 1. What's interesting, Dees, is that from the penultimate start, which he won, from that form, he reopposes Total Surrender, but Razor Hallelujah has come out and run some good races. Willow's Wish, a subsequent winner. Homer the Brave, a subsequent winner. Imperial Master, who ran last, a subsequent winner as well. And there are heaps of place getters. So that's what he's capable of. But so you want to ignore the last run. I can't ignore the last run, I'm afraid. It's just too fresh in my mind that he ran absolutely no sort of race. It was a stinker from number 2, Sugar Blast. But who knows what the reason is. I'm also going to take Calvin Habib's guidance here. That number 4 is preferred, certainly from his side.
Okay, we are going to go with number 4 from the stable of Tony Peter, who has numbers 2, 3, and 4 as possibly the right horse, and Alistair's found a 12 to 1 shot there in number 4, Armagum. Run to race number 4, which will be Jackpot 1,800 meters. It's a fillies and mares handicap. It's a C division class, and as we bring up the field, I'll give you some betting. Number 2, Apache Fighter, and just look at this strike rate that Gavin Arena shares when he rides for Roy Magnet. Doesn't ride very often, but you don't get better than that. That is 3 to 1. Horse number 3 at 7-2. Number 4 at 8-1. 5 is at 6-1. 6 at 5-1. 7 at 3-1. Alistair, over the years, you've seen it, the combinations that have success together. It's just about the jockeys that seem to have that luck. They gel. It's just something good that's going around with themselves and their trainer. Whenever they jump on, they seem to jump on at the right time. And Gavin has timed it right whenever he rides for Mr. Magna.
Yeah, and Gavin would have had a choice here. I mean, I know that Gavin and Mr. Mags go back a very, very, very long time. They absolutely adore each other. I've heard them in conversation before. It's quite interesting. And now he gets the ride on number 2, Apache Fighter. Funny enough, for the first time in her career that they actually team up. She's a chance, even though 1,800 meters she's featured over quite promisingly. I still think she's a step better over slightly further, number 2, Apache Fighter, but she's got to be banging the race. I mean, her last run, when you actually look at it, looks like she came from a mile back. That was because Indian Ocean was so enterprisingly ridden by Pierce Stratum off that heavy weight that it looks like Apache Fighter was making good gains over the closing stage. It was just that Indian Ocean played them on the break and had almost had a freebie on that occasion. So I think that run will bring her forward, number 2, Apache Fighter, but I also think that there will be those long distance stayers, fillies and mares races that number 2, Apache Fighter will target, much like she did last year, races like the Sun Chariots and the LA France. LA France is not too far away this year, so this is probably just a restart, but she's definitely in with a winning chance. I've isolated this race to 4 winning chances, with number 2, Apache Fighter being my top choice. 3, Ariel's Jet. I mean, she was given a very, very hard ride by Gavin Lerena to win her penultimate start over this trip on the Turpentine Inside Track, where she beat Mighty Goddess. I always thought that she had battled to maintain that after such a hard run the time before, but she acquitted herself nicely over 2,000 meters. This looks to be a happy place though, 1,800. She's got an 80% win place strike rate over the trip. Raymond Danielson takes the ride. Number 5, Darling Harbour, is a big runner here, Dees. I'd like to believe that she is going to run a very, very big race going over a better trip as well. She needed her last run. She kind of just plodded on, but once she got squeezed at a crucial stage, she didn't really throw in the towel. She got less weight. And on pure mathematics, Darling Harbour ran with Ariel's Jet on the 22nd of June, absolutely annihilated her, and comes in here 3 kilos better off. And then last time on the 5th of September, not that we can get much gauge on Mighty Goddess, because that was evidently a flat run, Darling Harbour got squeezed at the 200, finished in front of Mighty Goddess, and comes in here 1.5 kilos better off. So she's very well treated, number 5, Darling Harbour. She'll be bang there. I know Candice has got 2 runners on the day, but she is easily Candice's best runner on the day. I'd be disappointed if she's not in the first 3. And then number 6, Mighty Goddess. I will ignore the last run of Mighty Goddess because she's a lot better than that. I think this trip might just stretch her a little bit, and I think she's probably best at her home course of Turffontein, but she's consistent enough not to totally ignore.
I've just written down next to Darling Harbour, if she repeats her run in the Oak Trial, which was a good third behind Frances Ettel, I think she wins here. And Alistair did pick out some weight turnarounds with a few runners collaterally and in the race. So number 5, Darling Harbour, I think represents tremendous value at around 6-1, and Alistair has given us the green light that the horse is ready to put in a big effort. Race number 5, Fillies and Mares, 1,800 meters, and let's bring up the field. Number 2, Far Reaching, Johan Jansa van Vieren, has Pierce Stratum engaged now. That is at 2-1, and Alistair, just think about what you're going to tell me when you watch that last victory of this horse. 2-1. Number 3 is at 33-10. Number 4 at 5-1. 6 is at 6-1. 8 at 7-1. And 9 is at 7-1. Whilst I understand that it was a small field, the filly was an odds-on favourite. But you don't often see horses win by those type of margins. Number 2.
That was a very loaded statement that you made when introducing this race, because I'm of the opinion that there was nothing in the field, but the way that Far Reaching won looked impressive to the eye. We're going to learn a lot more about number 2, Far Reaching, this time around. I don't make her an absolute good thing, despite the clear trajectory that she's on, and with Stratum on board. I mean, how was striker for Johan on Saturday with those 3 winners, Nettleton, Barbaresco, and the other one sadly escapes me for now, but he was different class. And again, even in defeat at the Vaal on Tuesday on Black Egret from an not ideal draw. Getting Black Eagle just a little bit slow away, getting him towards the fancied going, and then running on strongly behind a horse who got first run. I mean, Stratham, he's 57 years old, but he's running like he's 27. It's brilliant to see. So number 2, Far Reaching, yes, big chance. Tries this trip for the first time. The mother went round Turfentine twice to Flying Fable, so I don't see that being much of an issue. And now that she's come to hand, she is a big player, but to win by 13 lengths is one thing, but to beat Royal Miracle by 13 lengths, I think I would have run third in that race. So the Jackpot 2 is my suggested play, and I've gone in with more than half the field. I'm very sorry to tell you, but not field. 2 Far Reaching in there. Number 3, One Religion. I don't know what to make of One Religion. I'd venture to say that she's probably a late maturer and she's still coming to hand, but patience is becoming a bit of a virtue with number 3, One Religion. But the fact that she needed her last run was a good run behind Risky Business, who's just on an unbelievable streak for St. John Grand Muzieni. I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt that there could be some life for her as a 4-year-old. 4 Silver Parasol also didn't beat much last time out, but Muzi's back on board for Alec Laird. She can only kick on. The mother was top class with Silver Mountain. Then I've got number 7, Silver Flare in as well. Although beating a weak maiden, she could also find a little bit of life being a lightly raced Silvano trained by Tyrone Zaki, ridden by Pilasande Goli. Her last run wasn't all that good, but she's better than that. So I'm willing to throw her in. 8 Hats, Queen of the Across the Pond form, has done justice a race earlier by Darling Harbour, Almighty Goddess. That'll make Across the Pond Hats Queen rather, very interesting indeed. And then number 9, Free in Seattle, who pushed Anne with a knee all the way down to the wire. I mean, this was just a St. John Grey masterclass, backing them up so quickly. A fit horse, obviously happy horse, with Raymond Danielson on board. Wouldn't surprise me to see St. John strike with number 9, Free in Seattle, because this is the stunt that he's pulled all winter, and it's worked a lot of the time.
Okay, this was Far Reaching, Alistair. You've given us your comments on the opposition, you've given us your comments on what you thought of the victory, but the handicapper doesn't take notice of that type of thing. He just sees the margin and he puts his mark down, and he's put a severe mark down here, 75 to an 88. You see it at the top end, the weight for age races, where a horse punches way above his weight. Most recently, I think the best example comes to mind is Flagman, getting that hefty penalty. But in these type of races, I mean, for a young horse to be punished, and I say punished because Alistair's given us his opinion on the opposition, which I feel the same, and it was a small field. That was a big penalty, Alistair.
It was, Dees, but I mean, I chat to Johan quite a lot, and I'm of the opinion that Johan would probably agree with the handicapper. He doesn't often disagree, and he's open about that when doing interviews. You talk about the weight for age. So what is she? The weight for age scale currently showing 9.5, so that equates to 19. So she's a net 69, which sounds very, very generous in the bigger scheme of things, especially if she is progressive and only hitting her straps now. But again, you come back to the quality of opposition that she met. And to be honest, I think the handicapper has a good look at the quality of opposition, but he was obviously a lot more impressed with number 2, Far Reaching. You'll probably find the kicker was first time over a mile, probably going a type of trip that's going to suit her better, almost expecting Far Reaching to improve a little bit more. That's the way that I see it. But I remember the days of assessment plates. Far Reaching would be an absolute candidate for those assessment plates that were out and about 6-7 years ago in the half-outs. That Far Reaching would run an assessment plate. If she sort of ran a consistent race, then the handicapper was right. But also the trainer would have the option of phoning up the handicapper straight after the assessment plate and saying, right, you got that one wrong. Whether she won or lost, you got that one wrong. Can I have a bigger penalty so I can get into feature races? Or can you reduce me so I can to go to the right level? So sadly, we don't have those anymore. But I think the handicapper looked at the fact that Far Reaching, 1,600 meters, emphatic win. She's on the up, and I'm going to mark her up quite significantly.
Okay, the spotlight on the mark that she's been given, and let's see if it comes to the fore on this Thursday. Lots to talk about when you look at a horse like number 2, Far Reaching, and see the profile that she has, especially after that hike for winning last time out in very, very easy fashion. Race number 6, merit rated 74, handicap 1,800 meters. It's the last pick 3 on the card, races 6, 7, and 8. Could be a nice way to end off your day. Number 2 at 3-1. Horse number 3 at 33-10. Number 4 at 6-1. 5 is at 33-10. 6 is at 8-1. Craig Zaki has picked up the ride on number 7. That's at 7-1, and 8 is at 6-1. Well, we've gone for Heather Adamson in the past on the show, and I must say she's been kind to the Gallop TV preview show for some Gauteng race meetings. I'm actually going to side with her with number 6, Future Wolf. I can't give the guys all the confidence in the world, but for place accumulators at around 8-1, that gets my vote.
Deez, have you looked at my selections by any chance?
No, I haven't. What bet are you giving for the show?
Jackpot 2, and I've gone with 2 horses here, leading with number 6, Future Wolf. I like Future Wolf. I cannot tell you how much I like Future Wolf here. Ignore the last run over 2,000 metres. That stretched him. Although he runs like he gets the trip, and it was worth the experiment, he's just not a horse that's going to go 2,000 metres. His penultimate start makes him the biggest runner you've ever seen at MR82 level. He's so down in class. Yes, obviously as a result, he's got more weight to carry. But with the fact that there's likely to be a lot of pace in this race, and his style being a horse that comes from off them, these I like number 6, Future Wolf, a lot. At his home course as well, son of Futura. Going back 3 starts to the 30th of July, where he ran 2.5 lengths behind Safe Space, who's the other horse that I've got in my play. I don't think there'll be much between them. 2.5 lengths in it. Comes in here half a kilo better off. I'm also of the opinion that Future Wolf didn't quite have the rub of the green on that occasion. If you watch it again closely, went up towards the inside from near the back of the field, needed a little bit of luck in running, and it wasn't the last 400, it was the last 200 where he really made some impression. I make him a big runner. At the price, he is all the value in this race. 3 Safe Spaces, obviously the horse who's got a target on his back. He's obviously the horse that I think he needs to turn over. A workmanlike victory at his penultimate start, where Chase Moujon really got down to get the better of American Biscuit. He faces American Rebel, not American Biscuit, on this occasion, so don't get wires crossed there like I did when studying the form. And he backed up with a fair run last time, but again, 2,000 metres, I think, just stretched him a little bit, number 3, Safe Space. So these are the only 2 horses that I want to know about. If you're looking for alternatives, then Weishong's horses do get into the conversation, 2 American Rebel and 5 Japanese Maple, but honestly, I'm happy to hold this race to 2. 3 and 6 are the only 2 horses that I've got in my play.
3 and 6 for Alistair Cohen, and it's number 6, Future Wolf, that is going to be the value. We go on to race number 7. It's a divided handicap for fillies and mares over 1,000 meters, and we bring up the field here. Race number 7. Number 2 is a scratching, so take note of that. That's at the time of recording. 2 is out. Number 1, Ice Star, is at 5-1. Number 3 is at 4-1. Number 4 is at 3-1. Number 6 is at 5-2. 8 is at 7-1, and 9 is at 6-1. So that is going to be the field. Alistair Cohen. Let's have a look at his selections here, and in race number 7. I don't know how you're going to be playing this, Ali, but with 2 being a scratching, 5-2, number 6, just the 2 of us, and then it is a wide open betting race once you look past that. I suspect that you may go wide here.
I've only gone with 3 of the 8 horses that stand their ground, Deez. I wish Chasing Happiness was running, because she would have quite comfortably been my top choice. I think Johan had her in here just in case the Saturday meeting got cancelled with all the rain that was forecast to be around. But anyway, they got there. So I'm left with numbers 1, 3, and 5, probably in that order of preference, to be fair. Number 1, Ice Star, comes out of that Ladies Stakes at Turfentine, coming back from a layoff where she ran 3.5 lengths to Where's the Party. But that four blood is not pretty at all, Deez. And what exacerbates the situation more is that first and second, Where's the Party and Blue Horizon were hopelessly under sufferance, and they ran well above themselves. They legitimately got big penalties for their performances, and they've both run since and done absolutely nothing. So I'm on a bit of a quandary here. Fabian Habib's yards in good form, and it could be a masterstroke from Fabian to use Trent Mayhew claiming 2.5, who's at the moment well worth 2.5. It's getting quite ridiculous, and the sooner he loses that 2.5 kilo claim, I think put it like this, let's punters ride that advantage while we have it. So number 1, iStar, big chance. Pound for pound, the best horse in the race, and difficult to fault. Then we got number 3, Virginia Beach, who came back to winning ways at her penultimate start when she bluffed me. I didn't like her at her penultimate start with blinkers on. I thought she'd do too much, but she ended up going from start to finish, showing some signs of life. Got a £2 penalty, ran fairly well at the Vaal in her next stop behind Green Flash. I suppose Green Flash does enter the conversation, but with that said, Virginia Beach comes in here 2 kilos better off for a 4-length beating. Is that enough? It might not be, but I do think Virginia Beach is worth another chance. And then I've got number 5, Force 8. Her last run was not good at all behind Chasing Happiness, but she might have bitten off more than she could chew on that occasion. That was also when trainers were just keeping races alive at the time because of small fields. She's run with Rodeo Drive. Rodeo Drive's got to be one of the best sprinting 3-year-old fillies around, certainly on the half-vault, and that run puts her in the picture, especially giving her a little bit of weight. So again, the best version of Force 8's a very dangerous version. So 1, 3 and 5 my numbers. The only other one would be number 4, Green Flash, but I don't know. I'd like to see that wasn't a flash in the pan last time before I can be quite confident about her chances.
I think you're a big help here, Alistair. With those 3 runners, you've helped a lot to reduce the perm, because I made it far more competitive than that. So hopefully those 3 runners are good enough there in race number 7. 1, 3 and 5 for Alistair Cohen, race number 7. We move along to race number 8, where we close things off. It's a fillies in mare 76 handicap. The distance is 1,000 meters, where number 2 is at 8 to 1, horse number 3 at 5 to 1. Then we have number 4, at 4 to 1. 5 is at 7 to 2. 6 is a scratch. 7 is at 9 to 2. Then we got number 8 at 7 to 1, and we do have a replacement rider here for horse number 9. I just want to double check that I've got that right. Yep, race 8, number 9, Caden Brewer. And some form updates here, horses that have run on the 21st of September. The first of those form updates will come up as horse number 3, I think it is, in Inventrix. Just want to double check. Yeah, Inventrix ran, behind Nettleton, ran 3rd. So did Mix Bomb, ran 4th behind Nettleton. And then we got number 9 that we got a form update for there. Smashing, well, there is a form update for that. That was Eldina, so that is fine. Yeah, that is it, Alistair. We got Inventrix and Mix Bomb that ran 3rd and 4th respectively. That was behind Nettleton, so we'll see if those runners take their place. But it is a week away, so one could say sufficient time for Fani Broncos to possibly consider running both, if not maybe one of them. Race number 8 is how we close things off, with 6 being a scratching. I'm sure that will help for guys that want to play the field to reduce the cost of the perm. But I looked at it, and I want to give Smashing a chance here. Caden Brewer, I think, has picked up a nice ride here. This filly, you mentioned the stable of Penton Bender and how they're going. If I had to choose a roving banker in the race, I'm going to go with the daughter of Rafif, number 9.
And if I had to choose a roving banker in the race, I'd go with number 9, Smashing, as well, with Caden Brewer on board. And as Dee says, we've not compared notes. When you actually go back and have a look at Smashing, and I don't really like comparing times, but when they're on the same day over the same distance, there is definitely a little bit of juice there. Smashing ran 1,000 meters at the Vaal Classic in 57.92. On the same day, just the two of us, who's obviously not in this race, finished 8 lengths in front of Gaelic Dancer and ran in 57.13. So pure adjustments, that's got to be more than good enough for Smashing to retain an advantage over number 8, Gaelic Dancer. I think with a lightweight, for me, I think that this race is probably the same type of quality of maiden that Smashing won when beating Remains of the Day. I know that average merit rating here is 72, on that occasion was 65, but with 54.5 kilos, I think number 9 Smashing's in a pretty good place. I remember the mother Wrecking Ball, she won the Tommy Hotspur under Jared Penny for Grant Maroon roughly 5 years ago. She was an absolute speedball, was Wrecking Ball, and it also, I think she won her debut, then she went missing for a long time, did Wrecking Ball, and then she came back to life by winning a stakes race. So maybe Smashing's on the same type of track, and that maybe confidence is up, and with a little bit of maturity that she's getting there. Let's be honest, she's an out-and-out speedball as well, over 1,000 meters, and like I said, with a light weight, she is the most interesting horse for me. But there are a few others that I think you've got to respect. I'm sure Fanny Bronkhorst will run both horses. Again, Micker's Bomb and Inventrix. Inventrix finished in front of Micker's Bomb on Saturday. Micker's Bomb finished many lengths in front of Inventrix when they met on the 3rd of September. So who knows what's going on. I think Micker's Bomb's a better horse pound for pound than Inventrix. So I've got number 4, Micker's Bomb, in my play. 5 in the either. Good old trusty daughter of announced tongue tie comes off. Not really sure how that's going to translate to performance, but she's good enough to be somewhere in there. And then number 8, Gaelic Dancer, worth another chance off a lightweight with Cabello on board. I just want to see if the blinkers come off, or have come off Gaelic Dancer. They haven't. The blinkers obviously did not work last time. If they do come off, then she becomes a little bit more appetizing. If they stay on, then I'm going to temper my enthusiasm.
Okay, it's that combination of Fabian Habib and all these owners that closed off the meeting. And I have to give this a mention on the show. Captain of the Green, because wow, those guys went on a ride with that horse from KZN to the stable. So compliments to them, and the horse rewarding them after that lengthy layoff and everything that went on behind the scenes. But could they close things off with the same colors of number 7, 17 again here in race number 8, as they did on Tuesday, closing off Alice in that last with Captain of the Green. What a ride by Pierre Stradom. Just had to give that one a mention. But over to you, Alistair. Your bet up on screen. You mentioned to me it's Jackpot 2.
It is Jackpot 2 indeed, being a little bit different here. Starts in race number 5 at 2:45, so you've got a bit of time to suss out how things are going. So 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, and 9, far-reaching, One Religion, Silver Parasol, Silver Flare, Hats Queen, and Free in Seattle. By 3 and 6, Safe Space and Future Wolf, with me liking the price about Future Wolf. By 1, 3, and 5, Ice Star, Virginia Beach, and Force 8. And then the final leg, 4, 5, 8, and 9, Micker's Bomb, In the Ether, Gaelic Dancer, and Smashing. The reason why I don't like 17 again, she beat a very weak maiden in the Worked Riders last time out. And, well, not in the Worked Riders, she beat a very weak maiden. Belissa Vaal runs earlier on in a desperately weak maiden. So I think that this is just a little bit stronger. And she's a small daughter of Europe. Life's going to get hard for her.
Okay, you've given us your thoughts throughout the race meeting. You have a great memory, Alistair. I always compliment you on that. If you had to look back on the card and pick out a value bet, I'm going to try and point you in that direction. Will it be Armageddon?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a place double.
Yes.
Armageddon onto Future Wolf. I think those two represent some good value on the card, and I think they'll both be in the first 3 at worst.
Yeah, thanks to Alistair Cohen, and on behalf of the team, it's the Gallop TV team, Alistair Cohen, myself, Dees Dunn, and to you, the valued racing fan, have a blast. Find all the winners, because you could be the winner of the Hollywoodbets Punters Challenge competition if you do just that. It's 8 winners that you have to find on the card, and have a blast, and hopefully it turns out to be a wonderful day for you if you're racing on this Thursday, the 26th, at the Vaal Classic. From myself, Dees Dunn, and Alistair Cohen, the Gallop TV team. Until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gasly.